Welcome back. We are playing as part of the Gauntlet gaming community. We've just done the Gauntlet community rules discussion before we start, so we can just dive straight into part 3 of Heartbreakers. We're playing Heart, and we are presently still in level 1 of the Heart. So in other words, the Heart basically is 4 levels. So you kind of start level 1, and then it gets increasingly weird to get to level 4. And up to this point, well, let's be honest, we're on level 1 and we still have some pretty much weirdness. I was about to say, actually, Jim, do you want to give a quick recap of what's happened so far?
Yeah, gosh, my recollection is that we started all together in a haven, relatively close to the surface, in the standard mode of we all knew each other. We had been on adventures before. We were all kind of buddies with each other. And things just started to catch on fire. And we realized very quickly that this was not any normal fire. It was some sort of supernatural fire that had emanated from the heart. It was this kind of living fire that was seeking out, not necessarily, like the things that normal fire would seek out, but living beings and consuming them. And they were somehow still alive while they were on fire. And there were voices speaking from the fire, and Arcos, our arcanist, who serves a different fire god from the heart, kind of had some conversations and stuff like that. But we, after doing our best to try and, fight back the flames, realized it was too much for us. We fled to kind of a supernatural netherworld that allowed us to emerge eventually at another haven, which was this Court of the Moon, where or I guess whatever, Temple of the Moon, something like that, the moon beneath, where there's this artificial moon that these drow cultists have created that they worship, and they're trying to somehow make the moon manifest, deep within the earth and stuff like this. But basically, there was a route down to, I think what it sounds like is yet another haven, this temple of rat priests, that was blocked by a vampire who we established had, sunk its fangs into the very heart itself, and it messed it up. And it turned into like a horrible, some kind of like anime Legend of the Overfiend sort of beast, as opposed to like a sexy Anne Rice vampire that it used to be. So, we went down there, we dealt with that horrible, disgusting, bloated, corrupted, blood-filled beast, managed to destroy it, and I think probably emerged from that into, I think did we return to tell them that the deed was done, or did we push on through to where the rat priests are?
We pressed through. You're not quite at the rat priest yet. You arrived at Grip Station. Was the last.
Oh, that's right. That's right. There was a station of the Mystic Railway that Kazmaier is a kind of reluctant employee of. So yeah.
The only thing I'm going to add to that is it's worth noting Hagfang's took major fortune fallout, which you have yet to ascertain what actually has happened related to that.
Oh, that's right.
I just float that there, so when anything awful happens, you'll realise what it is.
Yeah.
The other thing when I said you emerged into the station, I said you saw some people. Did I say there were sages, or did I say there were pilgrims, or did I not specify it?
I think it wasn't awfully specific. That was my recollection, was that we kind of emerged and there were some people there, and we saw whatever the kind of what was once intended to be this kind of Baroque splendor of the place has is all dilapidated and kind of rhymed over and stuff like that at this point. So
okay, well, in which case we can start there. As you've arrived in here, and the Grip Station, to remind people, it was a station in the underground, the Mysian underground, connecting things. The problem with the station is it's got these enormous crystalline stalactites above, and the noise which of a train makes more than like 10 kilometers an hour or so causes this, there was a fundamental design flaw based on crystalline death if you actually get the train moving through its speed. So that's pretty bad. It's recently been recolonized by the Vermisian sages themselves as a kind of like a research outpost. Might be the best kind of half fortress, half research outpost is the way of imagining it. So they kind of imagine taking a subway station and then refitting it. Until recently, Kazmaier was kind of based here, but Kazmaier is kind of in a bullied, and we can dig into that later. But fundamentally, Casimir is not welcome. But, it's still working for them. You are also, and when you emerged, you saw some you suddenly realised since the last session they are pilgrims. They are pilgrims of the moon beneath. They were heading on a pilgrimage, and they have turned back. You're now beneath a slope in the cave on the way in, because you've realised you can't go out there yet, and you're actually having a dinner. As in, you're sitting down, you're eating. You can sort of see the outpost, which is heavily barricaded now. This more heavily barricaded than Casimir remembers, I suspect. And it wasn't exactly unprotected even back then. So you're sitting there discussing, and you've got these wide-eyed pilgrims amazed at the story you're telling them. and the line I'm going to open on is, so what's it going to be called now? I mean, you've cleared the passage, Hagfangs, and Hagfangs, Arcos, Casimir. You've cleared the passage now. We can actually travel along that route. What is it going to be called? And just to dial back to last time, that's actually was Hagfang's mission to have something named after them. So we're going to open with a cheery discussion of what this tunnel is going to be called. So anyone can dive in and speak as they wish.
Well, we cleared it, but really, I mean, I did the most work. So it should be called Hagfangs. What? Passage? Burrow? Route? No.
Canal?
Run. Hagfangs, run.
I'm not sure if you did the most, but I mean,
it's safe.
I kind
but
of
not
Casimir stabbing it, but
well,
okay. If you want to name it Hagfang's Run, it's a better name than Casimir's Run.
I stuck the boot in its mouth so that it couldn't eat any of you.
That is true.
That's fair. Yeah, that's true.
Are any of you in the stomach of a vampire right now?
I was, briefly.
Casimir was, yes. And I looked at him.
Well, okay, maybe that wasn't the best analogy. But we're all sitting here.
But the hummingbird likes the name, so it's fine.
Well, if the hummingbird approves.
You can't.
Clearly.
You can't piss off the hummingbird.
Mm-hmm.
No.
At least not before
and I lean into one of the pilgrims and I say, have you heard the word of the hummingbird, friend?
Is the hummingbird an aspect of the moon beneath? If so, hopefully. They're glancing between each other intently.
And like I'm looking at Arcos and then looking to them like I'm not quite sure how to answer that question.
That is in a way, the moon beneath is part of what the hummingbird encompasses.
Well, there you have it.
And just nod sagely. And do all the Vermissians, like, how do I say, they sort of nod, then look beneath. Does the hummingbird protect your friend as well? And at this point, I remind people, you picked up Zigmar, the other Vermissian knight who had the aforementioned leg pushed in the aforementioned vampire's mouth. He's kind of moaning and like semi-conscious, and you basically have to carry him out after being fed upon by a vampire for a while.
And I turn to the pilgrim and I say, is he in the stomach of a vampire right now?
All hail the hummingbird, greater aspect of the moon beneath. And they kind of like start improvising a hymn. This kind of like the choir things go round and round. This is kind of delightful. And they stop and explain they were based their position. They've been trying to actually on a pilgrimage themselves, and they were trying to pass through the stop in here because obviously it's the haven. Being run by the sages, and they're just not letting anyone in. Apparently, there was some kind of fire on here, and they only managed to get rid of the fire like relatively shortly, and they're entirely locked down, preventing this going any further. So this is that one friendly. They're going to go head back the way they came, and now they're going to be the first pilgrims to go through Hagfang's Run.
It's true. You'll be able to tell your grandchildren about this day.
We will tell about Hagfang's Run indeed. It's like, is there anything else you want to ask them, or like, can they head off on their pilgrimage?
I would advise against stepping in any of the vampire's blood that remains in the passage.
Got it. Got it.
But you might try to drink it just to see what it tastes like. We haven't done that.
So we'll see how it like. We'll see how that feels.
Probably also unwise.
Okay. But the wisdom of the moon beneath is down some very, very difficult and strange passages. I'm sure whatever we do is right. One says cheerfully. As I was saying, they're like one's a knoll, one's a drow, and they're really quite chipper for the beneath. Because if you're a pilgrim, I figure you've got to be a bit optimistic down here. You know, right?
Well, they're not. They're not.
What are you pilgriming to, anyway?
We're trying to visit all 7 of the churches of the moon beneath.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay. Is one of them on fire? Habitually.
They sort of glanced at each other, as in, we were hoping to find that out. As in, to be honest, we're kind of relatively new converts, so there's a lot we don't know yet. So we know there's 7 of them, and we're hoping to learn as you go. You know, we kind of figure the experience. You kind of pick up a lot of experience on adventures. So this kind of like this is what we were kind of looking for. It's gonna be a time for all of us.
That is a worthy goal. And if nothing is on fire, you can always set it on fire.
Excellent.
Chances are pretty good. Most of it's on fire anyway.
Okay.
True.
Is this the fire of the true faith?
Not
No.
so.
Is that what they called it?
Not so much.
Oh, not a metaphorical fire. That's okay. Yes.
Oh no. There
No.
might also be metaphorical fire, but this is literal fire that we're talking about.
It will
Okay.
burn you. I thought it was metaphorical too at first, but it burned me, and then I understood that it wasn't.
The drow kind of like, the knoll kind of nudges the drow in this kind of like, don't mix your metaphors. Don't get lost in theological arguments here. We're very much early pilgrims. We're gonna learn as we go along. Is there any message you want to pass back to the church?
Well, you'll be telling them that that Hagfang's run is clear now, and because that was what they sent us to do.
Excellent. We will certainly do that. I was about to say, it's worth noting. Probably worth mentioning the mission. I believe the mission was to get down to Stepwell, which is a place full of like rat priests, is the way it's described.
Oh yeah. No, we haven't completed the mission yet, but they can tell them that we, step 1 we've cleared out.
Oh yeah, definitely. So what I meant was just because I've just realised I wasn't quite sure if I mentioned that earlier what the actual mission is. So they're kind of us ambling around a dungeon and nothing happening, and not realising why we're here. But yeah, as in did I say scrolls or ruins? You had to gather.
I think it was some kind of documents, wasn't it, that they wanted to bring back?
Yeah, it's like binding documents is the best way.
Yeah,
it's all warding stuff. So cool. Yeah. And allow me to briefly show you the map so you actually see where we are now.
Yeah, there was some discussion about whether the intention was that we acquire them legitimately, that we purloin them, and it was kind of our remit was, just bring them back. Whatever you need to do to bring them back, that's where that's your department. Was kind of so. Yeah.
Exactly. And now this is actually where you see how the journey has gone so far. As in, Hagfang's running this on the map. And now we're heading in Grip Station, which is delightful. Right. Anyway, they sort of like shake hands firmly, and they offer you a little bit of travelling cheese, and head off, and leaving you there. And just as they head around the corner, it says, "I'm surprised Hagfang ran. He just, they look. Hagfang looks more of a fighter, but like apparently he runs. We've got to tell everyone that Hagfang runs. How strange." And they just disappear back up to the north. Right, leaving you alone in this quite dangerous place. And it's kind of, do you want to try to go into? Obviously, you've got a semi-corpse with you. So, are you going to try to get into the actual haven, or are you just going to try to get past the haven?
Oh, I think we should go in. We should at least leave this one there.
Yes, I would like to acquire certain herbs and things. I feel not very well. My body is not where it should be, and my eyes are kind of running all the time, and that is not quite comfortable.
And I'm sure Kazmir has no desire to drag another Vermissian knight in after they've failed, only to tell the Vermissians, I found this.
Of course, this is the person who betrayed Kazmir, and
Right,
turned him in
yes.
as well. So
Yes, yeah.
how is Kazmir feeling about this person being in their complete power?
I mean, he's missing 2 feet, right? So like, I kind of I don't really feel the need for revenge, but I'm kind of like, okay, so if I drag him in, are they going and tell them, hey, I found this guy? Are they going to think that no, like I did that, or are they going to be happy with me for bringing him back? And the first one kind of seems more likely.
It's a good question. As I believe a game designer once put it, let's play to find out.
Yeah.
It definitely is the kind of like, yeah, they could go evil, especially because he's not entirely conscious.
Right, exactly. He can't and he wasn't at the time, so yeah, he can't really give them a
I must say,
he's alive, and he has the signs of the vampire marks on his body. If they accuse us of being a vampire, then we might have some other problems. But I believe it's unlikely that we are a vampire, or any of us is. Looking at Hagfang.
I think we'd know, right?
That's a good question.
I haven't drank anyone's blood lately, have you? Have you?
I mean, I might have swallowed some of that vampire when it came out.
Yeah, maybe don't mention that.
I mean, I don't feel like drinking anybody's blood right now.
It can't hurt. Perhaps there's a reward for returning one of the Vermissians, returning him back home.
You mean going to the village, not drinking somebody's blood? I thought you were volunteering, but no, okay. I understand your argument, and I agree.
Excellent. In which case, shall we cut to your approach, having made your way slowly across? Like, here's a question for the group: how does each person make less noise, or how less noise are they trying to make? Because they saw, when you saw the pilgrims, they were basically had their feet covered in bandages and stuff. They were that level of cautious. But like, Kazmir knows that's probably too cautious, because it's, a train could go at 10 kilometers through here. But like, how to phrase this? Stalactites, are enormous crushing stalactites, have a way of concentrating the attention. So actually, start with Kazmir. Actually, Bethany, how does Kazmir prepare themselves for walking across this area?
I think I'd wrap some rags around like the noisier joints in my armor, and walk quietly. Just don't stomp. Which is hard to do in this heavy armor, but I think I'm a bit more cautious than usual about that.
Cool. Sabine, how does Arcos do it?
Well, Arcos still, besides the Red King, he still hears the voices of the stone cars. And I think the stone cars, hearing their voices, it's quite easy to understand where to step and where not to step, and where I would create an echo and where I would not. I'm a bit tempted to just step on something just to see what would happen, but I will not. I will not.
Excellent.
Not yet.
You were muted there, Kieran.
Jim, how about Hagfangs?
Oh, yeah, I think Hagfangs doesn't make a ton of noise to begin with, because she pads around on her, on her bare hind legs. Like I said, she can go 3-4 steps, and then she's kind of got to drop down hyena-like, and then sort of pad back up. But I think as I've gotten a little deeper, and like in my most recent encounters and stuff like that, any place where you could normally see maybe little bits of veins or stuff kind of flowing through. My blood looks much darker than the normal blue that you would see in like veins or whatever. And I like the idea that I am carefully stepping in places where there are shadows. And whenever my foot lands where there's a shadow, it's like I'm stepping in like a puddle, but like the opposite of that. Like where my foot lands in a shadow, there's absolutely no noise. Because I'm kind of, have sort of, and it's also a little tougher to see me just because the darkness down here, I have also kind of started to tune into a bit as well.
That's great. This is actually probably a good time to mention something that happened towards the end of last session as well. Both Arcos and Casimir took, was it major or minor echo fallout? But either way, like Arcos' eyes could have been replaced by streaming blood coming out of it, while Casimir is now bright red. I mentioned this as a visual of how you are now. That's like, it has a mechanical effect, which is a bit, it's a bit iffy, but really it's a kind of like, oh yeah, you people like that heart touch people now, which is kind of appropriate.
Yeah, and this is creepy because I have perfectly normal roomy bloodshot hyena eyes, so that's like, you guys are weird. Yeah.
You make it across there slowly, though it's obviously always tense. And outside the gate, you get a kind of you get told to stop at 10 feet away from the main barricades, which are like old sleeper bars of the railway piled up on top of each other and like barbed wire thrown over it, and two Vimisian sages with like bandages around their face and sort of asbestos coatings are pointing very large rifles in your direction, and they speak very softly. The station is closed. It's worth noting, it's a station, so they're undercover, you're not. You're in the open, beneath the stalactites.
I think I like. Oh, sorry.
Casimir.
Casimir.
Just kind of point at Casimir, like.
I just sort of whisper back, like, "That's fine. We're just dropping this guy off." And just like drag the guy, what's his name, up and sort of drop him in front of them.
And one says Zigma, and the other one sort of pretty much points the gun at him. I said, "No, don't." And the other speaks. What happened to him?
Vampire.
He went hunting for the He went hunting for. I forgot his name. Sorry. He went to
Found him.
Karzov.
Oh wow! So, how it happened to Karzov? And one of them sort of lowers the rifle a little and starts to make notes, like the Vimisian sages tend to, because it suddenly has gone from practical to theory. So, what happened to him?
Karzov or
both?
Oh well, he found Karzov. When we got here, he was missing a foot and pretty much in the condition he is now. And then we blew Karzov up, so tunnel's named after Hagfangs now.
No, they kind of like glance to each other,
Hagfang.
and they pull a chain which is connected to a box, which is connected to, and it's like the whole Goldberg machine of stuff that goes motoring through the base. And you can imagine, like, if we follow the camera through, we've got a little rat runs along and chews a bit of cheese, which something else falls down upon, which is passing a message to somewhere in the base. And eventually someone gets up who's like the old Major Grisholm, who's Casimir's superior, abstractly, and is starting to head here. Meanwhile, you're getting a chance to sort of talk to stuff. So, it's worth noting before what actually is in the place if you want it. There's actually, there's an alchemist in here, so they could do something about your heart fallout if you wanted. As in they've got a D8 heart, a D8 blood and a D8 echo alchemist doctor, so they can do healing and echo stuff. There is some mind and fortune healing as well if you wanted. You could trade for that. which is from the singing crystalline caves, and there's also just trading for supplies. I also noticed at this point in the conversation, something's gone very weird with Arcos's sheet, because it's not adding up correctly, is it? It says you've got blood 4. It says your total is 8, and your total's actually 7, unless I'm missing something.
But I have blood 4 and mind 3 and supply 1. That's up to 8.
Wow, this is a terrible. This video can no longer actually go online because I literally can't add up 3 numbers. I was like, oh my, oh me, oh my. Sorry about that.
Well, you do math like a writer, brother. That's.
I swear, I'm not bad at. It's been a hard day. It's been a hard day.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Anyway, so is there anything you're trying to bargain for, particularly? As in, like, you can certainly head in your way. And to be honest, the sort of singing noises in the crystals is keen to be getting louder. So there's definitely like a sort of quiet timer just around people moving around. One of them asks, so why are you traveling? What brought you to face the vampire? And the other one asks, and was there anything interesting in the bacteria? I've got some theories about gut bacteria in vampire hemogigantocytes. Hacklangs, do you want to answer that?
And I just kind of stare at him, and I say, we spent all of our time trying to stay out of his guts, so I wouldn't know.
It's sort of like this one sage looks disappointed, the other one kind of looks at them as in, for God's sake, this is not the time.
This one, and I point at what's his face, and I say, this one was bitten. Perhaps on the stump of his leg.
Oof.
There may be some left.
And there's a moment of happiness, but like, and then realizing he's being the person had his legs sawn off by a monster, and that moment of embarrassment. And the moment is shattered by Magus Grisholm comes in. Magus Grisholm is a tiny little man, but wearing an enormous amount of Thessalian plate. Imagine he's got enough armor for like 3 people, and he looks incredibly like paranoid, as only a man who lives beneath these things I imagine can. But he looks even more paranoid than Casimir remembers, I suspect.
Is he wearing a helmet, or is it like a tiny little head and a big huge suit of plate, like a Games Workshop figure?
It is to us. It is the tiny. It is the tiny head, but it is also an enormous helmet.
Okay.
But you can see his tiny little face. Is the thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Tiny little face, big like triangular helmet.
It's such a GW figure. That's awesome.
Yeah. Actually, think about the Marvel comic character, the Juggernaut. Like, the Juggernaut's,
sure.
Juggernaut's helmet, but with an open faceplate.
Yeah, got it. Okay,
It's that kind of vibe, but without the Juggernaut body mass.
Like one of these pikes from Star Wars. They have these tiny faces and these large heads.
Exactly.
Oh.
But he makes a kind of shk noise as he approaches. Casimir. I told him he should not go in those tunnels. Did I tell him? I told him. Drag him in. Takes it in. It's one of those kind of moments where take. Anyone talk supply damage? No. This is kind of for the sake of the argument. This counts as a D8 supply, as in returning the corpse. So like, this is something you can trade for with them. So what?
I mean, I have supply damage, just 1, but I do.
Yeah. But you could use that. I mean, we can use those things, but you can also use them for other things as well. So it averages out. The Magus Grisholm kind of looks at Casimir. Have you mapped the whole tunnels yet? And then one of the other 2 people laugh a little.
Well, definitely have to change the name of one tunnel on the map.
Seems real. So why are you here?
Just returning this asshole.
Okay. Is there anything you want, or is there's definitely a level of suspicion in terms of like, this is kind of a long way from your stomping ground. Why? What, last time I heard you were up in
We're just on a little mission for the church. I'm alright, but my friend here, and I like just point at Arcos's face, which is like blood streaming down their eyes.
Arcos is currently investigating his oversized cloak for remainders of these bacteria the guards were talking about, because it's pretty much soaked in the vampire's blood, and there might be still be some macrobacteria left, and that would be very interesting.
This is my favorite thing about it. It's one of the things that I think as players we need to we realize about the hearth. It's that moment is everyone's too polite to mention one of you is bright red and the other one has eyes melting. That's just a heart thing, you know. It's that kind of like, oh yeah, you know, you weren't bright red the last time I saw you, but we are living in the heart. So there is that kind of vibe to it. And they don't. It's almost like they don't mention it. It's like not noticing your new haircut, I guess. It's the equivalent.
Well, you know, or it's like if somebody loses like a bunch of weight, like you don't want to ask them why. Like, were they working out? Are they ill? Are they, you know, do they have like, did something bad happen? Is it bad? Is it good? Do they want you to notice? Don't they? And so you just kind of like it's just sort of there until they say something about it, like until they make it clear they would like to talk about it. So yeah,
I think it's more like you see a guy in a car on fire and he's talking to you, and you would like to point out that the car is on fire because that's kind of unusual, but you don't have the framework to say anything like, hey, your car is on fire. What's with that?
Yeah. There's a lot going on there in that way. So it's just kind of, so I think, look at you, you look pretty battered in need of healing. How about you tell me what you're actually doing, and we actually will arrange to have a healer in here. Otherwise, you better be on your way.
What we're actually doing here, we are just passing through, returning this guy. I'm like, I know his name in character, but I'm just refusing to say it because, like, this guy, total stranger to me. If you want to fix the bleeding eyes thing, I don't know, Arcos, can you see? Like, does that bother you?
It does a little. I mean, I can see, but I have to blink a lot, and it's not awfully comfortable, and everything seems to be kind of reddish, which looks quite neat on Hackfang. But you look so red. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's worth it. You can also heal your stress as well if you needed to. That's the other thing that's offered.
Yeah, we do have a lot of stress.
Do you want to try to lie to get to make him to make the guy convince the guy?
Yeah, I don't know what I would tell him.
I mean, you're lying. I mean, you're lying now. So obviously, it's like kind of we turn to the dice to see whether he believes you or not, or he believes you at a cost, that kind of thing. Because it just sounds like this feels like the sort of thing where you're trying to get something out of him, and he's trying to get something out of you.
Right. Okay.
I guess. Okay. In which case, it would be Haven evade, I guess.
Okay.
Or evade or compel would do it, but actually Haven Haven technology, because of course you know him and he's a Vermissian knight, so that would make sense.
Do we have a link to the dice roller?
Good question. Yeah, which dice roller are we using? Second. Let me put it in the Slack.
And we can assist, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you can, like, how would you assist in this?
So, essentially, we're trying to get them to let us in so that they can take care of us.
Yeah, or like you can trade. You can like gain access to Haven's equipment. Is the best way of putting it.
Yeah, I mean, like I look at the guy that's writing it down, and I say, I looked right in that thing's face. I can tell you all about it. In reference to the vampire.
That is great. Yeah, I can imagine them doing the tell us all about it kind of thing. Yep. So there's definitely that. I would say it's not written. I'm sure this person's pretty good at lying, so I'm going to say, sorry, this person's, you don't have to be head of the Vicidians without being good, so I'm going to say it's risky. So it's your dice pool, which as far as I can tell, is it technology? So you get 1. Hagfang's helping, so it's 2. and 1 for free. So that's 3 dice, and that'll and minus the highest one.
Okay.
Cool. I better say, and the kind of problem things that might go wrong, like reputations, errors. You might let something slip, so they've got an idea what you're actually doing. That'd be another kind of thing, I'd imagine. But that sounds about it to me.
Yeah. I got a 10, a 5, and a 4, and I got to discard the 10. So.
Ooh.
Yeah.
10, a 5, and a 4. Right. Let me. That is a fail.
Yep.
This is still in the. It takes D4 stress to. Let me see. And of course, both you and Hagfangs do. I reckon you're going to take it both to. I'm gonna. Do you mind if I give your stress both to supply? I reckon. In that kind of, you've got to like bribe them a little bit to get in.
Okay.
And I'm going to roll your stress for both of you.
Yeah, and stress to supply means like we hand that dude over and they don't give a squat for him. Like, thanks, see ya. We were expecting to get something for it. Yeah.
Actually, it's like the factor is D6 stress for him, and actually it'd be 2 D4 stress. Mechanically, that means it's equivalent to 1 D6 stress, which means we can just swap one for the other. And I'm also going to like include he's got a suspicion what you're up to in that kind of like where you're heading, as
Legit.
in
Right.
as in. So, but you're still on the side, which is lucky because there's kind of one of the storm crystal clouds, as they started to fall, like tiny shattering outside, which is very beautiful, and iridescent shattering bits of crystal, but also deadly. But you're inside for the first time in a long time. Casimir, what's it like to be back inside here?
Not ideal. I think I'm kind of embarrassed to be here, and I would prefer that nobody see me.
Mm. It's like I imagine a lot of people.
It looks like I'm like crawling back, begging for help.
Oh,
and I don't want them to think that.
That makes sense. Great. So inside, so what are you looking for? Are you interested? I mean, like, what sort of are you going to try to? I said it because the alchemist can deal with both echo and blood fallout. So in other words, you can heal, get rid of blood stress, you can get rid of injuries. You could learn if you want to try to get rid of your fallout. That's something that could also happen.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of blood stress to get rid of, and I think so does Arcos. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I could try to fix my own blood stress, right? I mean, I have the mend ability, and I have man supplies, so I could. But I think, imagine I need a bit of space of quiet, just to mend myself, right?
Yeah. So I just think that's having a moment of thinking about the rules. Yes, absolutely. So I think we can just imagine you actually putting camp again, and Hagfangs has a chance to introduce the little crystal fellow. So I that thing. I'm not sure it's got a name yet. But like you can try to actually work out how to hit. If you can patch each other up in an easy way. Right. Basically, it's the same dice roll again. You haven, mend. It's worth noting to do it on yourself is always risky. So to do it on someone else's, so you could do it on Casimir quite easily. But
okay, I mean, I could do it on Casimir and then find somebody to do it on me if I realize that, oh, well, this is not ideal. This is somewhere, and I have to kind of, no. Casimir, I could try to mend you, and maybe you could help me. Then find somebody who would help me with these scratches. I mean,
if you can do anything about this, this is.
I think I can. I mean, I would roll mend plus haven, right? And,
yes.
Okay, so that is 2 dice, right? Because I don't have haven.
Oh.
Okay, which are mine? These are mine. Oh. Rolling. Oh wow! No, it's an 8. Ha!
Woo.
It's an 8. It changed at last second. It's an 8. So then I roll D6.
Yep.
Because I have the healing, the mending her. I'm learning this.
I've
got a 4. That's okay, I guess.
That's great. lose 4 stress. So whilst this is going on,
Yeah, that brings me down to 1.
how Sabine, do you want to describe how Arcos heals this time?
Yes, this is yeah, he has these it says mending supplies, right? What does it? Yeah, it says just mend supplies. Oh, I like this. So this is the coat he's wearing, right? This overstuffed coat. And then he starts to pull threads out of that coat, because it's not just one coat. It's about 4 or 5 coats which are sewn together, one over the other. And he starts to unravel a bit of it here and unravel a bit of it there. And he looks at colors and he thinks a lot. And then he will he will be a bit confused whether he's right now fixing your armor or your body, but he will get it. But took a bit, because no, I can't put a cogwheel on your shoulder. That's not how this works. Oh, sorry, I need this patch. And then he will try to sneak the cogwheel onto your armor. Just yeah.
I always add stuff to my armors. It's always a good thing.
That is beautiful. I would say, Hagfangs, when you're sitting around playing with your familiar, there's something you realise, by the way. In your back pocket, the pilgrim slipped something, and it's actually a tiny. It's a bag full of like moon mushrooms, like the moon beneath mushrooms, with like religious ceremonial drugs in that kind of way, which is an object D6. It's got a little note saying, "Thank you for clearing the passageway, Hagfangs!" Exclamation. Good luck from your new friends, the pilgrims.
Excellent.
And then there's a smiley face, which is like a symbol of the moon. Like they do a moon with a smiley face in, and that's kind of that's one of the cult symbols.
That's fantastic. So yeah, I think that yeah, I kind of like the idea that maybe as they were letting us in, like just something struck me funny, and I snickered, that kind of hyena laugh that we've established I have. I cackled like just loud enough that like I heard a chink from the ceiling, and like kind of jerked to the side as something crashed down next to me. And when I kneeled down to look at it, it was like a little baby stalactite that had dropped down, that dropped too soon, that didn't know you're supposed to wait for a big noise, right? And it was, whatever little like crystalline tentacles, that like little crystalline nodes that come out to then try and kind of move it back to the wall, where it can slowly climb back up and lodge itself back in the ceiling, a process which it takes years or something probably. But so I like squealed in delight and picked it up and looked at it, and it like had little crystalline shards that looked like teeth that were kind of like grinding a little bit. And so I just kind of took it and I like pressed my thumb on top of it until just a little bit of blood came out, and then it just ran down one of the cracks in it, and it just slurped it right up. And the kind of dullish color that it was, it got a little brighter, right? Crystalline like that. And so, I smiled at it and I tucked it away into my bag. And now, wherever we are in the Haven, I am sitting there and I am kind of, oh, you know what? I think I've got my spyglass out, and I'm using it not in the way you're supposed to, which is you're supposed to use it to look at things that are far away, but I've got it like this to try and look at the details of my new little pet and stuff like that. I'm using it like it's a magnifying glass. It's probably not going well, but yeah, no, I'm just like kind of cooing over this thing and petting it and stuff like that.
Delightful. How do Arcos and Casimir respond to this new member of your party?
Arcos is looking at it. It needs to learn how to sing.
Doesn't really speak.
Just because
Perhaps-
it can't hear it doesn't mean that it doesn't speak. It needs to learn how to sing.
Oh, philosophy. Wonderful. Please.
No, it's not philosophy.
Tell me how the universe speaks, will sing. If only I can listen to it.
You can't hear the universe speak. Are you serious?
Oh, can you hear the
That-
heartbeat? I can.
I can hear the hummingbird flutter.
Well, I can't hear the hummingbird, but I can hear the heart. So perhaps you're right. It doesn't sing to me yet.
It will. It will. Maybe that's why it came to you.
Is it? Is it more of an amethyst or a benzite? And I look genuinely concerned that this answer, that giving it the right name will, affect its development.
I think it came to you, and so you should name it. I cannot
But
help you there.
Those are the two choices. I like them equally.
Give it both names.
It needs a name. I'm attempting to absolve myself of the responsibility of making the wrong choice here.
But I am named Arcos Igneous. I have two names. Why can't this be called two names?
I suppose. Amethyst benzite.
Yes.
Amethyst benzite. Benzite
Maybe.
amethyst.
Which does
I
it
think
like more?
Amethyst.
Amethyst benzite, I think.
And I lean in and I whisper the first one and wait for a reaction. And then I whisper the second. I wait for a reaction. And there's no apparent reaction, but I turn to them and say, it likes amethyst benzite much better.
Yes. That is the natural order. You can call it Amy for short until it's bigger.
Yes.
Amy sits there crystalline and perfect and seems satisfied with this. Is there anything particular, in terms of what you can do, which is basically try to get supplies to something or trade some stuff or heal or get rid of fallout? That's kind of the options.
I still need to get healed. I mean, I healed Casimir, but I'm still not in too good a shape. My mind is kind of wrecked. I don't really know why, but it is. I think it had to do something to do with seeing that vampire. But I also need to do something about my blood damage here. And Casimir, you know this place. Where should I go?
The two options that might appeal to Caswell, the alchemist here is pretty good. The alchemist could do a lot with the the alchemist is the sort of person who does experimental heart healing. So it's do blood healing or it can heal heart stuff. But the best place to sort of generally go and relax is go and meditate in the crystal chambers, which are kind of growing not beneath the stalactites, beneath the stalagmites. There's a kind of a substrata of a very calming place, and the kind of singing of the crystals will actually really help.
I want to go there.
Oh, singing
Definitely.
crystals. Well, there you go.
See? Yeah.
Oh, you should take Amy there.
Are you coming?
No. If Amy wanted to stay with her own people, she would have done that. She wouldn't have chosen me.
That's fair.
All right.
Okay. I will go and meditate.
Cool. To meditate, basically, you have to use a resource to do it.
Yes,
Is that yeah? So it's is there any resource you want to trade it for it?
I have this goreberry, or did we use that? I'm not sure.
Let's say not, because I've been quite stingy with resources. So
I think maybe the goreberry, we used it and then it soaked up some of the vampire's blood, and now it's kind of bright and red again. So I will I will trade the goreberry, which is filled with Karazov's blood, and this will be the last of it really the last of Karazov's blood because it is all spent now.
Yes. In which case, I would roll d6 and see how much of your mind fallout you heal. Actually, I'm lying.
Okay.
Heal d4, and then actually you go down to d4, as in reduce the gore berries to d4. If that makes sense.
Okay.
So
Right.
you don't need to use. Yeah.
I roll d4 and then I reduce the gore berry because it's not fully used up. Okay. Cool. I like it. Maybe. Let's see how the roll goes. Yeah, I rolled a 1, so that's
Sorry.
not very helpful. That's okay.
Do you want to use the rest of the gore berries?
Yeah, but I want to heal some of my physical stress as well. Can I do that in this crystal thingy?
No, but we can actually touch in this sort of situation. Let's talk about the alchemist being there. Like the alchemist stinks of like all manner of chemicals. Wearing she's wearing a very similar large coat to you. It seems to be the kind of junk mage vibe, and they kind of excited mums. Philia is their name, and Philia just seems to be, like a cocktail mixologist. She's like a mixologist healer. She's sort of like doing little bits. Maybe you try a little. This will be a little bit tart, and she's just mixing up various things in your wounds and occasionally little bubbly stuff. And of course, it looks a lot more work, but it's not really worth the effort. But it seems to be working. So it, if you,
I kind of love the idea that instead of flavors, like she would normally say, like, this has got a little bit hint of wood smoke with it's various forms of pain that you'll feel when she applies it. Like, that's going to feel a little bit like a burn crossed with a laceration, but it will fade into a dull ache. Your tongue,
that's exactly that. Your tongue is going to be like this, and she talks all the way through this in a quite soothing voice, but endlessly. But yeah, you can use remaining D4 berries to roll to heal D4 blood stress.
Okay, I will try. Don't roll a 1 again, please. No, it rolled a 3. That's fine.
That's great. That's more like it.
Yeah. Okay, I'm feeling a lot better.
Excellent. We'll pull together. There's one thing happened, by the way, while this is going on and Hagfangs is becoming friendly with Amy. Casimir gets taken aside. There's a message aside, and you get a very small moment alone with the Magus. And it says, Casimir, I'm going to tell you a situation. Short version is, this place nearly burned down like a month ago, shortly after the hole that you left in our defences. So there's a lot of people angry with you, but you do have a chance to make amends. We've sent various knights down to try to actually get the bounding rituals. So we believe we can actually use the rituals to close off this environment with the various ruins down from Steadwell. They haven't come back yet. Now, if you're heading from the moon, we've heard stories they were under attack, and that's the sort of thing the Moon Knights would try. So my feeling is, rather than bringing it back to the Temple of the Moon beneath, you should bring it back here, because that's kind of what your order demands. And sort of taps your shoulder with the enormous metal gauntlet. And of course, I know I can't trust you, so you know what we hold over you, right?
Same thing you've always held over me?
Casimir, you may be ethically broken, but you never were stupid, were you? Anyway, thanks for helping. And it moves away with the lurching mechanical body of his. A little bit of pistons. In my head, it's like Thomas the Tank Engine, but with like Thomas the Tank Engine meets the controlling guy. They're both as one body. Right, but this happens just in time for you to be able to meet up with the rest of the party. Would you decide what you're doing next as a group?
Is there any chance that we could find a map or a report that someone has filled out about where we're going to maybe give us a little something to a little bit of a leg up?
That is definitely something you can trade for. Like, so there's some Vermilion sages and they're kind of trading.
Yeah, so I'm gonna find them and I'm gonna say we are headed towards where the rat priests are. We would like to know more about them before we just go padding into their temple.
What level of map are you sort of looking for? Because this is basically this is going to be an equipment basically. So this will be a delving equipment.
Yeah.
So it'll be the dice size you do on the next delve.
Sure. So I say to them, whatever you know, I kind of shrug and I'm like, what do you have?
I would say a D6 thing is better. Like they're probably like, we've suddenly gone mechanical, but like, yeah, we've got some pretty good like things. But you got to understand Hagfangs. Like this isn't like Hagfang's Run. This is like a whole different. This is the heart now.
And I reach into my back pocket and I pull out a little, you know, cloth wrapped bundle, and I hold it open and I say, "When was the last time you gentlemen saw the moon?" And there's the mushrooms in my paw there.
I'm glad. Like only for academic. Okay, this is of course only for academic use. You understand? This is a leisure thing.
Well, you are academics. I am only too honored to assist in your research.
Do you want to just take the straight swap, which is allowed, or do you want to
try? I will happily take the straight swap.
That sounds great. You've now got D6 delve. You've got their best notes. So you now have D6 delving tools for next delve, which is pretty useful.
Excellent.
Congratulations. I think you all like this. Is there anything else anyone wants to do, or shall we kind of try to set out down towards the horror of the heart?
It's not a horror. It's not. I mean, it is awe-inspiring and terrifying, but it is not a horror. I don't believe that.
Excellent. The next, the steps down to Stepwell is actually you have to head outside, and it's down a long circular path. As in, sorry, a stairwell. You know, it's a large stairwell going down, and there's big heavy steps, and they're very reliably built. They're part of the Mysian system. Arguably very beautiful. You see the ornateness of the filigree designs in brass down the side, and then the brass. And as you're heading down, everything's really quite reassuring almost. And then you glance back, and you're pretty sure the carvings are completely different. Like anytime you look away, the carvings are moving up 5 animation frames along. Oh yeah, you're heading towards the heart. Right, this is down the stairwell.
Is there a railing? Is there like a handrail or anything like that?
Oh, I mean, maybe there was once upon a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not that reassuring then.
Yeah, there was and to be honest, some bits remaining, and there's a bit like falling down the side, like an enormous metal snake curling down. It's that kind of vibe. Right.
So we can't slide down.
Well, you can slide down. It's just like going, but yeah. Okay. As I say, this sounds like you're about to try to follow them. Like, do you want to start following the map, like Hagfangs? In which case, it's a delve. This is a straight delve. What's it going to be? A cult, actually, because it's getting quite occulty.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to be rolling 2 dice because that's what I got.
Cool.
Can we help you? I mean,
can they?
You can. It'll like obviously it's going to stretch. Like the only problem with that, of course, is everyone takes stress damage on a badish roll. But you know, you certainly can assess. This is basically you all gathered around puzzling together on the map. Would be the image, I'd imagine.
Yes, yeah. There's almost like it's a Vermisian map. So I mean, Casimir, if you want to help, like there's I suspect Hagfangs not all that literate. You know, I can like look at the shapes and stuff, but mostly it's like, you know, I kind of pointed at you guys and say, which way are we going here? So
and they like use this extremely cryptic symbology for it, and you know, it's like, oh, it's 2 slightly different shades of blue mean completely different things.
Yeah, taking into account that this was used once apparently by the religion of the old god of the sea for some reason, you should really not go with this kind of blue.
We're a long way from the sea.
Exactly.
Ugh, Vermissians. So do I get 2 bonus dice for that? So I got 2 people helping me? Or
I believe it's a one don't.
maximum 1.
I believe it's a maximum of 1 person.
Seems legit to me.
Yeah.
So there we go. 3d10 is a good roll though.
Yeah.
I got a 9.
Sweet. Excellent. Now roll your d6 to see how well that goes.
Yeah, you bet. There's a 2.
Sweet. You start to make progress basically down. You're heading down the steps, and you're feeling like you're making really good. You're motoring, to be honest. You're feeling like down these steps, and like you're going to get there quite soon. And you've been traveling for about like an hour, maybe, and you sort of glance back and you realise, oh yeah, you've got about 20 meters. Like you can still see the station up there, and you've definitely walked this far. But you just feel that you haven't really gone anywhere. You carry on looking down, and you see the staircase now ends, opening into it is. You start feeling everything's a little bit hotter. It's like everything. It's like a station, but you know they have the lines on the underground station. This line is now on the wall, but in red, and the red is actually starting to flicker, as you can sort of see. There's fire down here, and you're sort of carrying on here. And you're pretty sure. I was about to say who most likely noticed this. I reckon Arcos would most likely notice this. Is that you're pretty sure something is following you, as in you're being pursued. Do you say anything to at the party? Do you speed up? What do you do?
Yes, I will. Actually, I have a question before I talk about that. In that heat and fire that I feel, that is the lighthouse fire, right? It's not the Red King's fire.
Yeah, it's enemy fire.
Oh, okay. Then I will, of course, mention A, this, and B, I will say, well, also we are being followed. I don't know if this is somebody, I mean, you stepped on their toes in the city maybe, or someone who's madly in love with Hackfangs, or somebody who wants to do us harm. I cannot say that, but there is somebody following us.
It's the last one. It's always the last one.
Yes, this is my experience as well, except for one rather memorable occasion. Although it wasn't Hackfangs in that time, but somebody else. So.
Cool. What's the group's Spanish? Are you going to hurry up, see if you can outrun it, or like something else?
Oh,
I think we should lay a trap.
We should ambush it.
Yes,
Yes.
you continue. You just mosey along. And I will wait here for it, and then we will get it from either side.
Yes. I think that I like the idea of you hiding and us. Maybe we can stand and pretend to be very engrossed in the map, and then we can argue. And then, well, let's see. Okay.
You stand there in the corner. Like I imagine there's a lamp over you, so you're a very clear, obvious target, and that kind of like. You're being really obvious. Hagfang's in a wall somewhere. How's this going to go? You start looking. You can't see anything moving down the corridor. I forget. Has anyone got anything like magic vision? Like, I know that sounds suddenly very boring in D&D, but is there anyone got any extra normal senses?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Actually, it's pretty wet because this is something you probably haven't seen before. For Arco. Actually, Hagfangs, you start getting weird wisps of heart energy in the air, and Arcos is starting to get excited too. As in, they're like, it's a different sort of energy, and it's blood energy. And you're sort of trying to work out because it's a really very weird signal you're getting, Hagfangs, as in like what actually is happening, and you sort of feel that it's almost on top of you. It's almost on top of you. I would say, give me a. This is such an unusual problem. I would say, can you get something like.
Well, let me ask you. So let me ask you this. Let me do something that's a little more active then.
Yeah.
It is my intent to find a spot where I am out of the corridor, perhaps, like climbed up a wall a little bit or something like this. And I'm attempting to actively avoid whatever it is that coming towards me.
Right.
So if that means I've got to kind of slip around and try and, get into shadows and stuff like that in order to do that, it is my intent to, like, if there's a roll here, it's to avoid being noticed by this thing so that it goes past me, I think, and I can see it come walking by. Or at least that's
Cool.
what I'm aiming for, if that makes sense.
No, that's great. We can play this out. This is just to establish this. There's a bit of the fiction which will establish quite quickly, and then you'll realise what the roles are. Okay, you're in a great hiding place. You're flanking. It's perfect. You're ready for the classic ambush, and something slithers past, and then just stops and turns towards you, and then another one, and a third one. These kind of protozoic beasts, and you realise they are like about the size of a medium-sized dog, and they look like they've got cytoplasms, and they're kind of, and you get a microscope shot of like a protozoa, and you see the nucleus, and it's that, but the nucleus is like eye size, and the nucleus opens up and forms vampire teeth, and they glare at you with hatred, and they whisper, "You killed the master. We have your blood scent." And these are the sentient protozoa blood bacteria of the vampire you killed, and they are hunting you down, and this is your enemy. You're the mortal enemy of the gut bacteria who are now hunting you.
Oh, this is that Fortune Fallout, isn't it?
This is.
Yeah, okay. All right, there we go. All right, so under Fallout, I'm going to put hunted by massive antibodies.
Yeah, vampiric phagocytes, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's so my little hidey hole is not.
Yeah. They definitely know where you are. In fact,
because they can smell me. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they've specifically got your trail, but they're also, since you've backed into a hiding hole, you're kind of like backed into a hiding hole. How are you going to try to get out? What's your action now?
Oh, I think and this is where I say yes, we killed your master, and you should have taken the hint. And I am going to, like start to distend, and that flickering, like I said, kind of stop motion Harryhausen effect kind of happens as my joints all get weird and everything, and and then I just go right at them.
That's great.
In my like distended true form, as I assume my true form.
That's beautiful. Get to give you a dice roll. They would be their heart, so they would be cursed.
Yep.
I think.
Which I got.
Yeah.
This is my I'm in my element here, but
but
and I'm just like coming at them, red in tooth and claw, just like kind of shred my way through them.
It's fantastic. You roll 4 dice then, which is an exciting dice pool. What could possibly go wrong with a 4 dice pool?
4 dice, holy cow!
Yeah, the first time I think we've had.
Where does the 4 come from?
You've got mastery. Oh no, you don't have kill, do you? I'm lying. Sorry,
I don't have kill.
Yeah, it's 3 dice. I for a second thought the fact it gave you mastery and kill means you also have kill.
No,
which it doesn't. I misunderstood.
Yeah, that's what I think we had established that last time.
Yeah, we had. It's definitely right.
Yeah. Oh, and in fact, you know what? Whenever I suffer major fallout, I enter my true form automatically.
Oh,
so
wow.
Even if that wasn't what I intended to do, this is what would happen here anyways. Just like my body knows it's time, to zoetrope out. So let's see, what do we got here? 3 dice. I got a 9.
Sweet. That's great. You just roll your damage, which will be whatever your standard weapon is, which would be.
It's just a D4, I think. I don't have any. Yeah, I don't have a gun or anything like that. So.
Yeah, it's just D4, but still.
Sorry, I mean my only weapon is a gun. It's not. I don't have particularly nasty claws or anything, or at least I haven't spent for that yet. 3, as I rip into one of them.
Sweet. Blood flies everywhere, and now it's immediately becomes a kind of like pack fight, as in like they kind of jump on you as well, like you're the big dog and they're the small dogs. So there's blood flying everywhere. Arcos, Casimir, you immediately turn and see this going on. I bet say I'm gonna give Arcos I'm going to ask Arcos, what are you going to do first? Because you've got kind of the better shot, and also you're kind of more attuned to the fiery area.
I guess. I mean, I would at this point, instead of pulling out my blunder, but my trusty blunderbuss, I would trust in the Red King. And at this point, I will. Well, this is probably kill and cursed, right? Both of which I don't have, but I still will try to set them on fire. You're muted.
That seems legit.
Cool. So I roll 1 die,
yep.
right? And well, okay. Come on, die. Oh wow, it's a 1. That was terrible.
Wow, that's messy.
Yeah.
Do you have there's something when you have mindful? Is it when you have mind stress? What happens there? Is that?
I don't know what you mean. Actually,
no. If your mind stress is 4 or higher, you roll with mastery when attempting to cast a spell.
Yeah.
So your mind. Just your mind. I was checking your mind stress wasn't high enough, which it isn't. I was about to say, well, I'm going to hit your mind stress immediately.
Oh. Yes, go ahead. Hit my mind stress.
In which case, it's going to be a D4 damage.
Do you roll that? Do I roll that?
Yes, I roll damage from this.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Roll damage.
Which is 3. 3 stress.
And it's double, right? Because I rolled 1.
Oh yeah, no, it's actually. It would be D6. It'd be up 1 group, so it's not double.
Okay.
So I actually should roll. I should roll a D6 rather than rolling a D1.
Then roll D6.
And I roll a 2 actually, so I get it's less stress. Surprisingly.
But I still have a mind stress of 4 now.
Yeah. Which takes you to 6. So you may get minor fallout on this. No, you don't suffer minor fallout. But like your spells, tell me how when your spells malfunction. Like, is it like what? Okay, head phrase this. What does the Red King tell you right now, which basically blows your mind?
I think what the Red King tells me is that I should stop fooling around. These are not worthy targets. This is not. Weren't you just going to take over the hummingbird, and now you are fighting this vermin, and you use my gifts? No. Use your funny gun, or tell them just to go away. That's
fantastic. I love it. Casimir, Arcos is like doing the screaming junk mage thing. Hagfangs is rolling around on the floor with a load of phagocytes trying to cheer him up. What do you do?
I'm going to go for the direct approach and take my scrap sword and start trying to carve up these phagocytes, which they're. And in the process, I'm trying to like scoop the parts. Like I'm trying to cut them in half and like push the parts away from each other so they don't just like come right back together.
Yeah. Or we get that's actually happens. Do we get twice as many of them at the end of the combat?
Maybe, but they'll be a lot smaller.
True. As I say, make the roll, which would be, I say it's cursed and kill. It would be.
All right. Oh no, I don't have kill. Never mind. I thought I had. Nope.
What'd you roll?
4.
That is, which is a failure. You fail and take stress. Well, things are getting messy here. Like, you take stress, which is one of them comes. You slice it in half, and it's more like the blade would get caught in it. You would take 4 stress to blood.
Okay.
Which would be. So now I roll. Yeah. I'll check for fallout for you, and you don't get fallout either. But you've got this beast running around messily. They appear to be in better shape. Like you could try. Like the combat has not gone well so far. As I say, are you like Hagfangs? You're wrestling one of the beasts. You think this one's nearly dead. The other two are kind of starting to crawl over Casimir. How do you feel? How are you feeling now?
I mean, I think I gotta try and just dispatch this one that's on me. You know, whatever. Just like it's crawling on me, and I just kind of rip it off and just like smash it into a wall.
This sounds great. Hit that, and that'll free yours up to be able to move or like work out what to do next. Right, make the roll. See if which would be the same as last time, actually.
Yeah, I think so. So 3d10 here, so because I got my mastery. Oh, 1, 3, 4. That's not
wow. Good. Everything's going badly now. It starts biting back, and you feel the blood pumping into its body. You take 2 blood damage.
Here's the thing that's cool.
Yeah.
I've got red dominion. I don't bleed unless I want to. When I'm angry, my veins pulse visibly beneath my skin, and that gives me +2 blood protection.
Sweet. So you take no damage.
Yeah, its teeth dig into me, but like all it's getting is like fur and like really stringy, like sinewy meat. No blood at all. It's dry. It's a dry bite that it's taken out of me. Yeah.
I'll say, Casimir, how much stress damage did I give you? Or how much stress damage did I give Casimir Bethany?
You 4, but I have 1 protection.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, as in, I wasn't sure if we did the protection or not. I just make sure you.
Yeah, because I had 1 left over, and so I added 3.
Cool. No, I just want like, I just one of those moments of hooray! Everyone's remembering the rules, which is exciting. Okay, you're resting around. You can see the utter hatred in the vampire phagocytes. In this kind of like, looking at you, you are literally the worst prey. Arcos, you're standing back from the combat, head starting to clear. What do you do?
I think what I really need to find out how to go at these things. Is there a way that I can use something, glean something from them that will give me an extra die?
Are you just trying to work out what's like? Yeah,
yes, exactly, because rolling with 1 die is terrible. I need more dice, and I have discern, so I guess I would like to try and figure out some way I could either like some trap or some kind of environmental advantage I could use against these, or maybe some god that really doesn't like them, and I could maybe talk
especially
to
them. These are heart beasts as well, so you've got the heart thing as well. So yeah, I think this makes sense. Like discern, I reckon discern and cursed would be my suggestion.
Okay. Okay. I don't have cursed. Cursed is terrible. But it's still 2 dice. That's better than the last roll I made. So let's see where that goes. And it's a 9. Yes.
Sweet. You have the moment that basically in the hummingbirds, there's a million wings flapping in your head simultaneously. And they form, and the message is in there, and you know what it says, even though you don't remember the words exactly. And it's the sensation that these things are creatures of the heart, and they can be distracted by the heart. So it's just kind of like you could definitely kind of if you created a bigger lord for them, they'd go for that, and you'd be able to get away from them.
Okay. Okay. Yes, I think a bigger. Sorry, I didn't get the word.
A bigger lure, as in if you had some kind of like, especially if Hagfangs isn't bleeding, if you can do something that basically creates something for them to go for, some other bloody thing, you can actually like, how to say, they're like sharks, I guess. If you throw chum in the water, you can maybe get away.
Oh, okay.
Or distract them if you want to try to kill them.
Yes. Okay. I would like to. At this point, distracting them seems like a very good idea because we're not doing so well here.
Cool.
Okay. I will then start to set up something that will lure them away from here. I don't have a pet, but
do you have that? Do you have that ritual where you make the stuff occult? Is that right? Is that something that happens? So I'm just brainstorming here.
I'm sorry. What?
That's me.
Oh, that was Hag. I wasn't sure it's Arcos or Hagfangs, but like, yeah.
This place is already occult, so I'm not, or rather cursed. So I'm not super worried about it because it's cursed. But I guess if it were a cult, would that help Arcos?
Cult would help me immensely.
Yeah. Okay. Then maybe when it comes back around to me, I can do that.
Yeah.
Help us out.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Casimir, like this is do you want to? Should we assume the solution, the problem is being shouted out by Arcos, or do you want to like?
Yeah, I will say we need to distract them some way. Put some blood on something.
Yeah. It's worth knowing the reason why it's a cult is because the monsters are a cult. The region itself is actually not the occult one, if I remember rightly. Or am I wrong there? Yeah, no, the region, yeah, the area is a cult. They are cursed. That's the difference.
Yeah, I wondered if I could open a gate and just lure them into the gate and hope that that would take them somewhere where they would find some better prey. And I think that's what I will try.
That's great.
Do we need something that... Oh.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Bethany.
Sorry, Bethany. What's Casimir thinking?
Do we still need something to lure them there, or are they just gonna?
We need something, I think.
Okay. Well, I mean, they're attached to me. So I have they like blood, right? Cool. Okay. So I'm gonna like cut myself with my sword and like drip blood on something and throw that thing. Maybe that cog you just put on my armor. Like, yeah, just like cut myself with it, get blood all over it, and throw it in the direction of your portal thing.
Okay, cool.
That is excellent. I reckon. So weirdly, I'm saying that's compel cursed because you're doing that. I reckon because compel is kind of deception as well. And this sounds reasonable. You can also get an extra, so that's 2 dice for you, Casimir, plus an extra dice from Arco's assistance, because this was a wonderful trap. And of course, Hagfangs is wrestling with 1 in this death pit. So if you roll that and see how this goes, it's like bowling.
So compel cursed. All right. So 10, no, 8. It changed at the last second, but 8.
That sounds great. Can you give me a D8 roll as in terms of?
Sure. 1.
That's fine. It's like we got this. That was actually that's the resistance for the delve rather than the monsters. So I'm just taking that off the monster, the delve thing. The blood phagocytes immediately disengage and roll after this exciting new target, and they're kind of like. But it's weird when they speak. They're speaking this very poetic. Their voice is they sound like vampires, but they're phagocytes. That's the kind of vibe. And it's like we'll feed from you soon. You cannot trick us like this again. As they say, as they scamper into another dimension, and you're left there breathing alone heavily. You look down the corridor and see, staring back from the darkness, a pair of eyes, rat's eyes, in a heavy cloak. Then another pair of rat's eyes, and a third and fourth pair of rat's eyes, all in the same cloak. And it steps forward, and you realise this is actually a rat. It's a rat. It's like a monk's robe, but just full of a tower of rats crawling on top of each other. And they speak with one voice at you. Are you here to help? And we'll end here for like 5-minute break. It's actually 10-minute break. So about right. We pick up where we were. You're in the corridor. The flickering on the wall. The rapidly, the adrenaline dripping out your bodies as the vampire phagocytes have left you alone. And down the end of the corridor, in a tatty robe, staring at you, is a bundle of rats in the shape of a man, looking at you slightly nervously. It looks like the 1,000-yard stare aspect. It's like 1,000 eyes, each with 1,000 yards in them. So that's a lot of mile of pain in this body of rats. Does anyone want to speak to it?
Well, I think I'm gonna, I kind of like deflicker and everything, and kind of come down just to regular, just being just a regular normal, heart tainted hyena witch, much less scary than what I used to be. And kind of pad towards it, and I say, we are here to learn from you.
He sort of he looks suspicious, like all the little heads shake simultaneously in that No, learning is what has got us into this. It says, and immediately drops to the floor and starts scuttering away. And it looks like a carpet because it carries its robe.
Yeah, sure.
Like, do you want to try? I mean, do you want to trace it?
Oh, I think all I have to do is say, "Oh, all we have to offer in payment is," and I just unwrap it and just let the aroma just kind of waft in that direction. Yeah.
Okay, this is beautiful. I think I'm gonna make you roll anyway, but this is just
sure.
more like but this is now a D10 roll against the resistance of the delve you're on. So you know, this will possibly go all the way through the delve instantly.
So I'm just gonna make the delve roll. Fantastic. All right.
Just 1 second, because I'm sure if anything would be better than just delve, it would be what do you reckon? I'm saying compel.
Yeah, compel I actually have, so yeah.
Yeah, compel a cult actually. So you got 3 dice again. This is literally this is home turf for you, Hagfang.
Yeah, yep. Kind of stuff I'm good at. There's a 9.
That's fantastic. Roll the D10 for how much stress you do.
Two. All right, fantastic.
This is great. This is fantastic. You kind of like, like immediately you remember it's like whatever you do, don't breathe it in or whatever, but you kind of hold it out, and the scuttling rat's heads sort of come back, sort of popping their way around the corner, and it says, "Come with me quickly."
Yes.
It's not safe here. And bring the cheese. Bring the cheese. Bring the cheese. Bring the cheese.
Oh yeah, no, I've got it. I wrap it back up and I follow them.
That's great. Bethany, come with me if you want the cheese. Actually, Bethany, can you actually do a roll to sort of how would you, since this is kind of a museum sort of setups, how would you describe how you're going to try to make people follow you through and keep up with this kind of slightly clearly petrified horde of rats?
Wait, hold on. I'm rolling to see what.
And basically, what I'm assuming is basically this rat is basically whilst the rat is very much into you and wants to stay with you, it's basically I'm sort of thinking the fact you have the lights on you and you can see best. I'm sort of basically a sort of delve, basically it's a delve role I'm sort of looking for. So like, how do you describe how you chase after the rats and make sure everyone follows you?
Oh, I mean, I have this lens that allows me to track anything. So maybe I let them get ahead far enough that they don't see me. So they can maybe calm down a little bit and then track them.
That's great. That is a delved occult roll because we're in a cult area. So 2 dice. And with D6 stress if you succeed.
Okay.
See.
2 ones. Roll for your party does not like me today.
I was about to say after last time with all the criticals, it's all right. Okay, it's 2 1s. Yeah, my God, that's a critical fail. It doesn't normally mean fail. Okay, you take D8 stress damage, I guess would be what 2. I would say to fortune. That strikes me as kind of like sort of like you're not actually trying to get anything stress based, are you? No. In which case, you suffer 8 stress damage. No, 8 stress damage to fortune. Let me roll to see if you suffer fallout. Which the answer to that is yes, because I don't know how maths work. So wipe out that stress fallout. And let me now work out what stress fallout damage you have. Okay, all the lights have kind of like, you're burning through the dark. and I'm going to roll your d6 anyway, because I'm going to give you, for reasons which will become apparent. And the light is working incredibly. You're moving through there, and you start realizing you're picking up a large number of rats following you. And these rats are looking at you hopefully, and they're saying, and then occasionally, are you our leader? Are you our savior? There was a prophecy that you will lead us to the promised land. What's your name?
Oh, my name is Casimir, and I don't know if I'm your leader. Maybe.
Casimir does not know our leader. That means they must be our leader. Because truly, those who said they knew the way did not know the way. Therefore, the one who does not know the way does know the way. And that is logical. All the rats got talking to each other.
Can't argue with that, I guess.
You can't. And now, okay, basically, you've suffered unwilling leader, fortune fallout. So now you've got these. How do I say this? You can use the group to achieve things, but honestly, they cause more problems than they solve.
Right.
So you are now the Moses to a large group of rats. Immediately the question of why are these rats A, sentient and B, talking to you? But I suppose the other rats you're following might be able to answer this. I will notice something else at this point in the game. Look, you now have 2 major fallouts. If you want, at any point, you can combine both these major fallouts into a critical fallout and die.
Okay.
I can never, like GM never chooses when players combine. So you actually now have it in your power to die if you want to.
Okay.
Okay. But you don't have. Yeah.
I rolled a 6, by the way.
Great. Thanks. It's like, I don't know if I was going to say, I'm not sure if we do roses and thorns after, like, if we do that. I'm really interested in some of the weird quirks of the how it's impossible to hurry it up if you're playing by the rules. Anyway, delightfully, you follow it through, and these rats tell you, this way, leader, this way. And everything's a little bit tense and everyone's weird. And immediately you walk into, what is it? How to phrase this? A throne room decline. It's basically a load of objects, scorched objects, burnt objects are gathered around. And sitting on the main throne is the rat who you followed. The other rats who were following Casimir, there's some other ones, and they join Casimir's horde. And you notice it's only this moment when the light gets better in this room because there's a lot of candles around. Actually, not candles, fungus, because fire is no longer actually nice for them. You see, most of these rats are missing tails. Most of these rats are missing fur. Oh, sorry, I forgot that. That's getting close to but like these rats have been in, through the ropes. He says that the Hausfrau has devastated our realm. Says the rats on the road. I'm Norviticus, says the rats. I'm the high seer of the Stepwell rats. I am the only surviving Stepwell rat. It sort of gestures with rats squirming with each other in the sleeve, as in these are the surviving. Like these aren't the whole brothers. They're they're not actually a full rat anymore. A full rat monk. These are now mere individual cells of a greater body.
You are in luck because Saint Casimir is here to help you.
So I was supposed to say Norviticus is Norviticus is not convinced by this because Norviticus has a fully functional hive-rand brain. Right. I say, Sabine, what does Arcos make of this slightly interesting setup? Because there's little bits of scroll left as well, but they're mostly burnt.
That's what we were actually coming for, right? That scroll.
Oh, some of this apparently. What you know of them, and especially you do know about this because Arcos, this is sort of the thing they don't know about. There's a lot of the Stepwell monks had a lot of scrolls, so it's like it's worrying that there's some here and damage. But this isn't the Stepwell. This is just a tiny room he's built in the side of the cave. So, though now you think about it, you actually do feel heat coming through the floor.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. I think we are in the right place, and I think that Saint Casimir, I will totally accept that. If the rats might know something about, and I always had the feeling that he was special. So yeah, Saint Casimir makes sense. Even Hackfangs accepts that, apparently. So I will listen and see what he's doing. and I'm prepared to see what the Red King thinks I should burn now, because it's probably not the rats. They are even smaller than the phagocytes.
It's like Norviticus is sort of saying, Norviticus explains the situation like, it must have been one of the brother rats, though we can't be sure. One day nothing was there, and one day the flame was there. A rat burst into one of the rat brothers burst into flames and started building there. This thing burst through and sent everything a flyer, and then sent emissaries out, these taking others, tried to spread the fire to other places. Some of the archives are existent. If you actually mention like the binding ritual sort of stuff, he knows, yes, that's still there. It's on the far side of the larger stepwell chambers. He describes Jetwell as basically, it is like a series of like canals underground. It's like it is an enormous stepwell, as it was originally there. So it's, and instead of like, and he says instead now of water flowing, there's actually just, you know, rivers of fire, not lava, just literally liquid fire dripping from the sky ceiling. And she holds court to her worshippers and sends them out. She says their great light must be, and the great light must be seen. This is not good for the future of Stepwell. This is not good for the future of the heart. But I'm a selfish rat. I'm certainly I'm not sure if we can reclaim it, but if we could assist in like recovering as many of those books as possible, we might be able to rebuild the library elsewhere.
Well, according to prophecy, we've been sent to help you with that.
It's like Norviticus this sort of shakes their heads in this kind of like they are a fallen people of very little brain, and they, you know, we are people of occult science, not strange prophecy. But if you're willing to help, we're certainly willing to assist you. Do you want, I can show you the way if we should sneak there. Okay.
Yeah, lead the way.
Scurries off this mob, and you're kind of and they've actually started making your rat followers, Casimir. They've just started like doing little rat hymns now.
Oh, I'm totally playing. Like as soon as they start doing it, I'm gonna pull out my harmonica and start
Rat hymns
providing a little
Johnny Cash.
musical accompaniment for the rat hymns. Yeah. Oh yeah. Saint Casimir.
The rat in black in this way, sitting there.
Yes, I'm trying to start and see Casimir's. You know, I will devise a symbol that means Casimir, because he has that armor and that sword and he's blood red. So I have to, yeah, I will devise a symbol for him.
I'm sorry, but a song about like a down on their luck knight who wagered their soul, and now their boss has their soul, and so they're plugging away every day just trying to get their soul back. Like that is a Johnny Cash song.
It is. Yep.
That is beautiful. Anyway, you head down a series of like tunnels, and you're like, you've got to climb down a ladder at the back of the area. And Norviticus explains that this is how he managed to escape. Like the main entrances were blocked. This will be opposite the area, and the Queen's, the Lighthausfrau is a house, is very good, much visible. You feel the heat pulsing through the door as it opens like an oven, and you'll be able to see inside. And you see there's this enormous stepwell, and those alcoves running deep in the side, like an enormous cheese wedge, I guess is the idea. If you imagine an enormous circular well with like stuff going in the side like spokes, that's what it should normally. And each one of those are full of books. Most of them are just full of fire now. You can go around the edge, so you can go all the way circular to get to the far side, but also right in the middle you have well, probably the first, what you immediately probably think of is wax, but it's not like it's not. It takes you a while to realize it's not wax. If it is wax, it's moving very slowly, so it's like molten and not molten wax simultaneously, and it appears to be solid fire. Is the easiest way to put it. And it glows so bright, your heart yearns to see it. Sitting at the top of the standing like with a very long robe, like a kind of like the American South, I guess. It's kind of American South kind of like lady would be the thing. Very long robe, merging with the wax almost. In fact, not almost, kind of merging with the wax. She looks very solemnly as she goes to work baking. And she's baking bits of people into like a cake before her. And there's no oven because she's in the oven. And she's like putting these cakes to one side as the kind of worshippers who are on fire, if you remember them. They're coming up and offering bits of themselves, then heading out on their pilgrimage, just spreading the word, saying, we've seen the light, we've seen the great light. So yeah, there's a lot of that going on. She's, I've sort of described her. She's, you would say she's a drow, you would guess. But she's dressed in like very undrowy colours, as in colours. And there is, her face is very tranquil, and for a second you think like it's so tranquil. For a second you think she's wearing a mask like the high elves do, but it's not. She's just, there's that level of inexpression to her as she goes about her business. She's whistling. It's a happy tune. One rat whispers to Casimir, "Get her." What do you do? You're allowed to inch around the corner and have a discussion if your party wishes.
That may be a good idea.
Well, I have actually a spell, a new one, that would maybe give me some sort of insight into her. It's a spell that tells me on a success I can determine what a target I can see once most of all right now. Maybe that would give us a bit of a heads up, or advantage.
That sounds fantastic.
I will then attempt to cast the spell on this woman who is baking, and the spell is, I think, with discern plus occult, which I'm actually pretty good with. And also, I mean, yeah, my mind stress is 4 or higher, so I roll with mastery. So I roll 4 dice.
4 dice.
That's neat.
How does the ability work? Is it like a spell you cast, or is it like just a feeling you have?
It is a spell I cast, so
great.
I have to. It's connected to the Red King, and I hope that he kind of thinks that this might be a thing I should do. And I'm rolling the
I'm going to say now. One thing. I'm going to suggest it's risky because you're basically messing with the.
Yeah.
I mean, you've still got 4 dice, so it's pretty. But you're still messing with an extra dimensional being of whatever power here.
Fair. I've rolled a 9 and 2 8s, so
that's pretty good. You're sorted. Am I right? The Red King basically doesn't speak to you, but kind of you just remember what he's told you.
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
She wants everything to burn.
Okay.
What she wants everything to burn, all of heart to burn. She what? And then the kind of moment of, like, you can always remember the sound of the Red King's sigh, sounding like a volcano exhaling in your ear. It's like she doesn't even want it to burn for it. She wants to burn it as a lure. She believes if you actually all the heart burns, another creature will come here, and then she can eat the creature.
What kind of creature?
She believes there's like an enormous extra dimensional. The best way of it, she thinks she's like an anglerfish is the best way of describing it. She thinks that by burning all the hearts, she can attract like another elder god or something here, and then following the very bright light of all this burning, she can eat the other elder god
and become the elder god herself.
Well, of course, the Red King's not quite sure about that. It's more like she's just kind of hungry.
Okay.
Like there's something.
Fire is always hungry.
Yeah. Why does the fire burn? Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I will explain that she does not just want everything to burn. She wants it to burn so bright that she can attract the attentions of an elder god with this fire lure. An idea about several of them. I mean, many of them live down here and don't need to be attracted, but there are some of those in the upper world, in the east where I come from. They worship kind of sun god deities. Maybe she wants one of them. Because if she eats the sun, that might sate her hunger, would probably destroy the world, though.
It would be cold. Did any of that include how to defeat her?
I don't think so, no. I can't think right now how that would help us defeat her, unless we might try to reason with her, because these outer gods, they're hungry themselves. And they have experience with gobbling up people. So that might, she won't be reasonable, though. She's fire.
Does she know about your Red King? Does she know of him? Does she know who he is? Could you threaten her with him?
I believe that he might not want me to do that, because if he wanted to confront her himself, he would have done so. I don't think he has the power. Sorry, Red King. I don't think you do.
There's a knocking on the door from the other side.
There's somebody there. Yeah, but I'll open the door.
Outside there is one of the acolytes who's burning eyes, burning mouth, and just offers you a plate of cakes. Please come through when you're ready. The Hausfrau will see you when you wish. Passes the cakes and then shuts the door like they look like nice cakes, angel cakes.
Yeah, but there are people in there.
Yep.
I hand it to Hagfags. She
Give it a sniff.
She might be into it.
Let's not do cannibalism, please.
What?
I don't.
What?
No, that's me, the player, saying that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No, it's just for Jim.
Oh no! These aren't. Sorry. So let's step out for a moment just to make sure all our fictional positioning and stuff is correct. My presumption is that are these actual cakes?
These, my head of the actual cakes. I was what I was about to phrase is that kind of heart stuff. Is the idea like basically when these acolytes aren't really people anymore, as in but they become one with the heart. So it's like there's an element of like eating the heart imagery all the way through heart.
Sure.
So, but depending where we want to draw the line there, I'm very happy to go into a slightly different way with it or draw back entirely.
Okay, because I just heard you say that there were parts of people that she bakes into the cake, and that was kind of.
Oh no, I get it. Yeah, it's. Sorry,
okay, Joe. So then I think Hagfang sniffs at it and it's like, ugh, and kind of like places it back on the plate.
Yeah, it's a bit like just like. Yeah, there is that kind of like the dust of it, I guess. It's kind of thing. So to one side, it's all very particularly icky in that way.
So should we go talk to her anyway? I mean, maybe we can figure out something.
Well, I don't think we're going to figure out anything out here, are we?
Yeah.
We're not going to get another chance like this. So she
Okay.
knows we're here.
Yeah. So let's see.
Norviticus goes, remember, like if we can get the scrolls and get them out, that is that's if we get them out, we can generally like protect the place.
How will we know them when we see them?
Actually, Arcos would recognize them. Arcos got a good description. Actually, like Casimir as well was like Hagfangs may have trouble because Hagfangs has trouble with reading, but the other two players would definitely kind of know the vibe of it.
I can tell you how to recognize them. They're the one with Casimir symbol in them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it looks like that, and I've drawn it somewhere. And you can recognize it because it's also...
Squint at it and nod. Okay. I think I got it.
Norviticus gets an idea, by the way. Norviticus goes, don't look, by the way. Because everyone turning around for a second. And so, like,
when he says "don't look," does he mean
at me?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I
okay.
I shrug and keep my back.
Yeah.
Okay. The second like people turn their back, they can turn around now. Norviticus is now just merged with the other rats who are following Casimir. In that kind of, I just didn't want you to see me change. you know, it's a little. I felt very exposed right then. So I can come out with you as well and offer some advice.
Don't worry, little ones. Saint Casimir will protect you.
I will then say to Casimir, sort of watches so that Norviticus won't hear it. I looked. It was pretty.
Excellent.
You sort of so everything's you step out after a deep breath, and suddenly everything is hot immediately and dry. Despite all the dampness, all the damp imagery, everything is very dry in your lungs. Most of the acolytes are now like at the edge of the room, so you've got a lot of space. They stand there watching with their burning eyes. And the queen, sorry, the Hausfrau is standing there, reading paper, reading a book, and as she turns each page, it bursts into flames. One of the rat you hear the sound of all Norviticus's rats hissing. That is a priceless artifact. In this way, she throws it away. Reading is very boring. I've heard it recommended. In my opinion, the major advantage of books is kindling. Thank you for coming to my place. Please sit down. There's no seats.
I will sit. I will go over to her and I will tell her, I feel that there are other merits to be found in books if one looks closely enough. And then I will just, I don't know if you said there is nothing to sit on, but maybe you can sit on the floor?
Yes, you certainly can. Like how to phrase, she doesn't. There's a weird. She's got that kind of almost Southern Belle type attitude in how she moves around, but it's almost like a performance of it, as in like she's not quite sure. She knows she has to say these things to pass as human, but doesn't really understand what anything else is connected to. That's the kind of the vibe you're getting. It's like you've travelled. Do you wish to become an acolyte?
No, I do not wish to become an acolyte, but I would like to talk to you. You seem very interesting.
Thank you, I am. There's nothing quite like me in all of existence.
How did a being such an astonishing being like you come to be? I have seen many like that had something like you, but nothing that quite as new.
Thank you. Notice that one of the little trittering ones called my name. I'm not sure how, and I heard and I came like a good deity, and I found this wonderful world, this wonderful unburnt world. There's so many cinder worlds out there, and this fresh full of burning, and the prey will come here, and all the souls will be consumed. And I bet so many souls have been ate, but you're always hungry.
Yes, I understand that deep longing inside of you that just wants to be filled and never is. And I'm trying to distract her here so that everybody else can go and look for the book or something, because I'm fireproof, not entirely, but more than that they are.
Fire resistant.
So I will stand up and I move closer to her, as close as I can bear, and hope that the others will find something to make her go poof or something.
I mentioned she was radiant, and that's definitely both definitions of the word. In that kind of, that is the vibe of her. In that kind of, she's kind of wearing a summer dress in that way, but it's a dress made of literal summer. So it's that kind of vibe. So Arcos is quite successfully chatting to a god, which is pretty awesome.
I mean, he's kind of trying to distract her, but it's also he is very interested in her, because she's the real deal, right? She's not one of these elder gods and who are mostly dust and memories. She's new, she's interesting, and
cool.
And he understands hunger for things that can never fully satisfy the person. So
cool. Casimir, is there anything you're thinking at this point?
Well, I'm going to take advantage of that distraction and go look for some of these scrolls.
That sounds. Sorry, Hagfags?
I mean, I get, yeah, like the point is that Arco's just keeping her busy while we are, scrabbling around looking for stuff. And so I think I am also similarly scrabbling around looking for stuff.
That's great.
Just looking for that symbol.
That sounds great. I would say it's a group action. I would say, is hunt or discern? What do you reckon? Because hunt. Makes no difference. I suppose it does actually.
It does. If it's hunt, Casimir actually gets a die for that. So
I say let's say hunt because it feels like, especially there's something visually nice about hunting rather than discerning. This I think it is hunt religion.
Okay.
And if Hagfangs wants to help, they can throw in a dice.
Yep.
Because it's a many hands make light work thing.
Yep.
Okay.
I will, and I will share in whatever.
All right. Well,
bad thing happens when Bethany rolls the dice.
That's brave of you. 8. No, 5. Damn it.
Sorry. The dice are so mean.
I know they changed just after I say, oh, that's a success. Nope.
I would say I'm going to give Jim D4 luck damage. Actually, sorry, D6 luck damage. We're in the wrong area. So 5. You take 5 luck damage. Fallout. Wow. And that puts you on.
When you say luck, you mean fortune?
I do. I'm sorry. I'm not okay. One of my many great weaknesses as a player is I tend to be a bit fluffy with terms.
No, that's fine.
No, cool.
I just want to make sure I'm marking the right thing.
Cool. I just rolled Fallout. You suffer minor fortune Fallout, which we will pick up in a second. Oh no.
Elaborate.
Yeah, it's one of the weird bits of stress in this action. There's no way it's like. I was about to say, you suddenly realise something when you're doing this. You're searching through and you suddenly feel something dripping on your thigh at the back of your leg, and like the cheese, the D10 cheese, has started melting, or is melted, and is now. It's now legitimately sort of like running down your legs, and it scalds a little. You realise how pungent a cheese this is. Mm-hmm. So like, you can't use a D10, you can't use its cheese until you work out a way to put it back together again, which probably means cooling it down. But it might be damaged as well. Your cheese is hurt, but remove your fortune Fallout. Meanwhile, Casimir is going to suffer D6 mind damage for 2 mind damage, which is okay. But the Queen kind of has a moment as you're just looking, and just turns away from Arco and says, "Oh, you, without the soul." And they're kind of like, and she doesn't walk over, and it said, "I would say you should be very proud of yourself. Honestly, like you should be very proud of yourself, little Casimir."
I know I'm supposed to ask you why.
He's like, "You were delicious," and it's like caviar, is the way he puts it. And then she just turns back as if it was nothing, as if she was complimenting the chef. I will note that this means that, of course, there's no hold over you anymore. Right, we're back to Arco's, and
I will take this in stride because, I mean, okay. And I will ask her, do you have a soul? One of your own?
That's kind of like tricky. In that kind of like, she's immediately freezes. It's one of those things that, how to phrase this? It's almost as if she's never thought about it before. And that, I don't think that's the sort of thing one has. It's a little bit, what's the word? I mean, does the sea have a soul? There's a lot of souls in it, but does the sea have a soul itself? And I
Yes.
wouldn't know.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The sea has a soul, of course. I mean, of course, you can't see it because you are made of fire, but for everyone who has a soul and looks at the sea, you can see the sea has a soul. It's immediately obvious.
That's interesting. I wouldn't know. All the worlds I've been on no longer have seas, so I suppose I wouldn't actually know that now. She starts fingering a necklace of pearls around her neck, and you realise each one of the pearls is the shape of a planet in miniature, and each one is the remains of a planet. I was about to say, if Jim is actually listening to this, you would say it's it looks like the most magical thing any of you have ever seen, and it's sort of at least a D12 worth object. This is like a world necklace she plays with, running the remains of planets between her fingertips.
I believe the Red King, is very covetous of this.
Tell me about this Red King. Pause there for a second, and we'll just pause at that moment. We'll go back to Bethany and Casimir. How are you feeling?
Combination of, okay, I'm done, and like both, okay, I'm done because I'm never getting my soul back, and also, but that also means that wait, those bastards don't even have it.
That is frustrating. I would say you can keep on going on autopilot and search for the dice again, search the scrolls again. So same roll again if you want to do it.
Sure. Let's do that. Wait, it was 3. That's right. 10. Hey. It's staying at 10, right? Yes, it's still a 10.
Yeah, it's made up. Immediately, it's now your mind is gone from the actual task. Everything is much easier. You just look down and you find the scroll in your hands. You must have found it when you were zoned out somehow. You've got it. Hagfangs, what are you thinking? Sorry, Hagfangs, you're muted. Sorry.
Thinking I got too many tabs open is what I think. Yeah, no, like Casimir, do you give me the high sign or something like that? Like, I got it.
Yeah. I'm trying to be subtle about it, but it's kind of just like I just move it a little bit so you can see that I have it, and then hide it in my armor.
All right. And so I walk up to, I just kind of I kind of nod, and I walk up to Arcos and the the Frau here who are talking, and I say, "What are you going to do about the fact that the heart will not burn, that you will be unable to consume it?"
Explain.
Oh, the heart is eternal. It was here long before this world. It will be here long after this world is gone. If it is a cinder, it will still beat within that charred cinder. Your flames will not touch it. There is no way that you can consume it. What will you do about that?
Just the best things about things. My favorite thing about things which are always true is making them no longer so. This will be fun. Thank you, little Hagfangs. She says, knowing your name, obviously. Hagfangs of the Run.
And I say, if you truly wish to thank me, give me your necklace. I'll only have it for the blink of an eye, and then once this is all a cinder, you can just pluck it from my charred corpse. But in the meantime, think of what mischief I can get into with it.
I say, she's thinking for a second. Move over to Arcos. Arcos, what are you thinking about all this heart talk? Is there anything like that? I mean, what's your kind of? Is there anything you want to try to do, or like plans in your head?
Right now, I think I want to. I can't let her touched the hummingbird. That is obvious, and I fear that Hackfangs is overly optimistic about the hummingbird's ability to survive such a fire from. There are other words that have been destroyed by her. I think. I think. Well, she asked me about the Red King, right? So I think, hey, I have the connection to the Red King. I want to know if he has any ideas. Maybe he can tell me what to do or what to call, because right now we are three mortals. One of us doesn't have a soul. That is amazing, but maybe he's not mortal if he doesn't have a soul. But still, it's not quite what we need here. We need something ancient and powerful here, some god or deity. Maybe she is right and she should call a sun deity, but I can't call a sun deity down here. I could call the moon, but the moon, I don't think the moon stands a chance. So I will try to send out some sort of a few generalistic prayers and see what will answer.
That sounds great. Meanwhile,
because maybe there are lots of gods who are hiding or sleeping with the hummingbird, right? Maybe if all of them came together, maybe then we might have something. Maybe Hagfangs is onto something.
Okay, we'll pick back to Hagfangs, and she's sort of mulling this over. This reality doesn't seem to really particularly want me here. I feel it squirming. It's like, you know, it's like when you eat a black hole. It just kind of like, it's just not good for you. It's like I am kind of looking for a husband, which might make things easier. Some kind of local representation here. I could offer this as a dowry to somebody, a suitable husband. We go over to Arcos, and you get a message back from the hummingbird. She is a coward and flirts and skirts and dances around the top edge of the heart. If she was deep within me, she was deep with me, then we could have a different conversation. If you find a way, and then the kind of the laughter of 1,000 wings clapping together. It clearly doesn't really know how that could be done. I was like, the current situation, you say you are like weirdly on a big tower of wax, which goes down almost infinitely. So it's a big drop. But there's this kind of, but she's kind of on top of it in this thing. So bringing all that down is going to be tricky. It would take an enormous amount of force. But like, there might be other ways around it.
Well, I tell her, well, you know what? If you want someone from here to be with you, to guide you, we should go down. You should come with me.
And how do you know the route, Little Arcos?
The route is down. And I have a soul. I can just follow it.
But are you what you're actually trying to do? I think I know what you're trying to do, but
I'm trying to come.
And I lean in and I say the challenge is not to be drawn in by the heart. It is to keep one's own footing when the heart calls.
And I look at Hagfangs and I say, I would want to do that.
And I'm like, see?
She's like she sort of moves and she moves to the edge of a thing, looking down to the bottomness and the red pulse down there. And it's not a red of heat. It's a red. It's not a red of heat. It's the red of the. It's not heat. It's warmth, and that's a subtle difference down there. And the heart. I mean, the heart loves you, and it knows what you want. And she looks at it kind of like fondly. You make an interesting position, little Narcos. An interesting position indeed. She's standing there right on the edge. Her tips of her heel kind of like rocking on it.
Do you want to do something, Casimir? Like summon a train that would push her over?
I mean, that's kind of where, yeah.
So, but Casimir, if you want to go over there, of course you're still in the thing. You find one piece of paperwork that's interesting. It's a train ticket, unstamped. Destination, please fill in.
Yes.
Almost as if it's prophesized. The rats cheer.
I fill in. I draw a route. And then I fill in at the end the heart. The route coincidentally happens to go through where was the station we were just at? And also just goes straight down this tower of wax from the top.
Grip Station is the station in question.
Grip Station, thank you, yes.
Yeah. This sounds delightful. Okay, we'll pause here for a second. Take a deep breath, because this is going to be fun. We'll start with a movement. We'll start with an open scene. Grip Station is now very quiet. People are hanging around, and the crystals are starting to shake more and more. Casimir, please describe what happens to Grip Station.
A train comes barreling through it well over 10 kilometers an hour. And there is a rain of stalactites just everywhere, falling and sticking into the ground and into the cover of this building, and all around it. And there are survivors, but they're like trapped by this just wall of stalactites around.
The only witnesses remaining are the pilgrims on the way back, watching it from a distance, like slightly amazed. It's like, I wonder whose passage that is, they say. Hard cut back to where you are. The Queen turns her head, elegantly, gracefully, sort of tilting it, as if she hears the distant noise. What's that? She still fingers the pearls. Casimir, where are you going to stand at this point?
I'm gonna get up. We're all on the wax tower, right? Yeah. I'm gonna approach her like I'm about to ask her a question, and I'm gonna get on one knee like I'm approaching royalty.
Brilliant. She's like she sort of smiles at you, approving of the manners, recognizing this is something. And then she sort of kneels to you as well, as in kneeling is a thing we do. Yes. Then she stands up again. Excellent. Hagfangs, is there anything you want to do at this moment?
Yeah, I am kind of I have kind of stepped up a little bit as well, and I'm a few feet away and off to the side. And I've got my mouth closed, and I'm sort of swirling my tongue around inside of it, and my cheeks are kind of starting to fill up a bit. And I'm going to wait for the train to come through to tell you to see if this thing I'm going to try and do works.
Great. There's a lot of things going to happen very quickly. So I just want to make sure I understand. Obviously, that Casimir used the ability means that Casimir is going to go down with it. Hagfangs, it's possible they survive somehow, but this could also be exciting. Arcos, are you planning to end up in the heart? Is that the plan?
Of course. Yes, that's the plan. If the train comes, I will take the train, and I will go with her. She's interested.
Yeah,
she's interested.
That's cool. That's why I always thought it was going to end. Just want to make sure that before we literally drive a train into this scene, where its direction is set. Okay. The room starts shaking. Everyone looks kind of nervous. The rats are looking at Casimir slightly confusedly. Norviticus, Norviticus kind of asks to take the scroll. Can I take the scroll and get out of here?
I said, yes, run. And I look at Hagfangs, run, rats, run, go.
No, we can't leave you. We can't leave you. This is going on. And then suddenly, several hundred tons of train bursts through the ceiling, comes smashing, looking up. The Queen looks up, the Hausfrau looks up and sort of frowns a little bit confusedly. Hagfangs, you have a moment.
So the train has smashed through. She looks up, and I, my cheeks are all puffed, and I just kind of do this and spit this long, sticky rope of witch spit, which slathers around one of those worlds, and I just snap my head. And so I'm trying to pull that necklace off of her as the train smashes into her.
This is fantastic. Make a roll.
I would like to. Well, it's mostly incidental because what I want to do, I want to embrace her, just so that she doesn't get away. But that might actually help Hackfangs.
That's okay. There's a lot of. In fact, the weird thing, she doesn't resist when you grab her, and she's not actually trying to dodge the train or anything. She's just looking at it somewhat curiously. Hackfangs. Make the roll. I reckon it's snake, and I reckon it is a cult.
Yeah, you bet.
Which is good. Which is good for you.
Yeah,
but,
three dice here. So let's see what happens.
And it is risky though, because it's a god.
Sure.
You might get a dice for the helping. Get a die for the helping.
Actually, yeah, and a dice for the helping.
Oh, so I get 4. Okay, so let me roll that. Roll that 4th die. So thanks to the extra helping die, I ended up with a 7 because I dropped the 8. The others was a 2 and 3, but the 7 was the Arcos die that I rolled in.
Right. The one thing I will say is you basically pickpocketed an elder god, which her actual damage is D10, which is pretty ludicrous.
Using spit.
Yeah, spit. I reckon you're not chasing any kind of fallout, are you?
Not right now.
I would say this is.
I mean, I've got my vampiric phagocytes are after me, but
yeah, I'm going to give it mind fallout for reasons.
Yeah, sure.
Just because there's a psychic. Actually, I've only rolled a 3, and so you take 3 fallout, and I'll see if you take. And it does.
No, I don't take any stress. Amy takes the stress.
Oh my! How dare you? Okay, it takes 3 stress, which is not enough to actually make Amy break down either.
That's correct.
Amy looks at you, vibrating, and Amy is actually. You have a moment of actually confronting the death of like 12 worlds, or how many worlds are on the pearl necklace, and the psychic scream, and that hit permeates you for a second before it's just shunted off to a crystal, which vibrates and it sings this single long high-pitched note, which is very beautiful. And that's if you imagine the train in slow motion, this being the kind of John Woo music, it's all like the kind of like the high-pitched noise, and you pull it and you're away, you're heading away. Arcos, Casimir, your train hits you, it's hard. Now, this is where things get weird. You realize the first thing, the train sort of hits the thing and sends her tumbling, and then you realize she is actually she's attached to the big tall thing, and she is actually merely the anglerfish lure to an enormous sea monster. So it's like about another several hundred tons of monsters part of the column. So it's just a tiny thing at the front, and Arcos is now holding on to the lure of this enormous bestious creature who has got a train, carriages tumbling down towards the heart. So this is like it's like Gandalf and the Balrog, really, but much more so, and a train's got involved. Casimir, I say, Arcos is holding on to the Queen at this moment. I think everyone needs to say what they're doing. Bethany, what is Casimir? What's Casimir's experience now? Are they falling? Are they dying? What are they thinking?
So I mean, he put himself between, put the Queen between himself and the train, like the way the train was coming, not realizing that this was all the Queen. But like it's aimed like straight down this, thing that looked like a tower of wax, but is actually the body of this elder god, which is awesome because it's like a literal bullet train going straight into the body. I mean, I think it just like pulverizes Casimir and, on the way down. Because like he's just gonna stand and, and fight it. Just not trying to get out of the way.
Cool. That's like, let's go to Hagfangs next, actually, because Hagfangs is the person who's like trying to get away from this train collapsing. Do you want to describe how you get away?
Yeah, like absolutely. This is a thing where like, I take 3 or 4 steps, and as I do, my body is distending and getting that flickery, like stop motion thing and everything. And as I kind of surge through I surge towards that like fleeing swarm of rats. I just hiss at it, grab a hold! And as I race through them, they're like grabbing onto me and clutching and like just like, you know, teeth digging in, mouthfuls of, you know, and so I come racing out of the chamber just covered in rats. You know, in my like creepy, like I said, you know, Ray Harryhausen stop motion kind of form, as it's all just like crashing down and, you know, whatever crystalline dust is, you know, spraying through there, and whatever big gobs of wax are, you know, chasing at our heels. But I would very much like to save as many of the rats as I can by like basically, you know, I'll be a train for them as we race out of there.
So the rats board you like the opposite of boarding of a sinking ship.
Yes, exactly. Yes, yep.
But and you do it. It's like everything's collapsing, and you're on the side, skidding to the floor, and the rats around you. They kind of like some rats gather, looking down the hole as the kind of the train tumbles past, and the smoke's rising up.
And I point a like a hooked claw at them, and I say, "You will never, ever." Ever forget the martyrdom of Saint Casimir.
We will. Like they literally starts. They look, and several rats are crying, and they're looking at each other confusedly. And Norviticus has formed behind you. We're getting in the room, and you're just sitting there, glaring at these rats, all singing in beautiful, chirpy harmonies.
And I glare back at him like, if you gainsay this, I'm going to mess you up. Yeah.
And he says, like, you know, at times like this, enormous rat monk could really do with some cheese, he says, hinting. And we hard cut over. Great. So from feeding a sentient horde of rats to Arcos plummeting down a hole in the embrace of an elder god towards the heart. You hit the heart red. What happens?
I think as we see Arcos and the lure dropping and falling, I think he starts to burn, because she's really hot, right? And as he burns, he start to listen to the song of the hummingbird, and he will hear it, and then we will be filled with this song and with her fire. And that is at that point, I think they might kind of become. It will be hard to tell the difference between the two of them as they drop ever deeper into the hummingbird's dimension nest. The hummingbird's nest on the train, of course, on this riding this weird train or through the body of the elder god. The lure and Arcos arrive at the nest and become one with the nest, and then somehow the elder god is drawn after the lure and becomes smaller and smaller as it enters the nest, and just becomes some kind of tiny glowworm just crawling around in the nest forever.
Excellent. We pull back from there. The big zoom cut out the heart, because it's, you know, those kind of like those hyper zoom when you start in space and go into the human body. And we do that but in reverse. And then we start this tiny glowworm screaming their own omnipotence, and we pull back through all the viscera of the heart, all the way back to Hagfangs in Derelictus in a bar, eating good cheese with the rat friends, and toasting Advent friends. What does Hagfangs say to describe the achievements of his friends? Her friends, sorry.
Oh, I say to Saint Casimir, the martyr without a soul, who gave his life for you, my rat friends, and his companion, Arcos the Fiery, who even now burns with the heart.
Cut to black.
And also to me, Hagfangs, because I am here to drink with you, so we must include me in the toast.
Excellent. Everyone raises the glass of excitement. Then 8 phagocytic vampires jump in, the window snarling. At the moment of not again, hard cut to black, roll credits. You've been watching Heart. Thanks for playing hard, everyone. That was delightful.
The music over the credits is, of course, performed by Johnny Cash.
Yes, yes. Johnny Cash dressed like there's an animation of Johnny Cash as a rat.
Or as a dark elf, right?
Yeah. Brilliant. Excellent. I'm going to stop recording now, but that's the end of The Heart's Amazing. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching. If you do,